Can't have escaped your attention, dear listeners, that the news has been dominated quite recently by the rants of arguably one of the most well-known and incoherent Australians.
Just solidified the fact we need another election because you didn't have a mandate for it. You didn't have a mandate for it, you lied blatantly, so it's not valid.
Yeah, Hughesy, you tell them. We definitely need more voices from unbiased opinion givers. The kind of average comedian everyman that makes relatable observations like, there are no living snakes in a bag of snakes alive. And the type of person who owns a small block of Melbourne apartments and a St Kilda property that he apparently accidentally bought for $1.84 million in 2010 after simply driving past the auction. You know that old story, we've all been there. When man meets house, man accidentally drops under $2 million on a house by accident. A tale as old as time. Not to mention that he owns a celebrity house, one of them houses from The Block, you know The Block, that he also bought for $3 million. So guys, he's really just like us, a struggling everyman with a minimum of $5 million in property assets. Of course we're going to take his word on this issue. And surely, if the good people of Australia wanted this, there would be evidence for it. Do we have some evidence?
54% of respondents back a drop in house prices, just 11% oppose, and a fair chunk, 35%, are unsure.
Now, Dave, I'm not very good at numbers. I've never invested in property before, unlike yourself. But let's look at some numbers, shall we? And you can tell me what you think. So, 34.7% of voters gave Labor their first preference vote. And that is a significant number of Australians for our voting. That's pretty good turnout. Enough to consider it a landslide at the very least. If I remember the news correctly, right? That was what they said. It was a landslide. And I think it's fair to say, and I'm not an expert, but I think it's fair to say that 54% is higher than 34.7%. Yes? Yes? Are we in agreement? Seems maybe, just maybe, if 34.7% is a landslide, then there is a mandate for doing this. The people, they yearn for cheaper homes. They want to be off the streets. They don't want to have to move every few years due to rising rents. But I bet Hughesy isn't giving his alleged apartment blocks cheaper prices. Are you, Hughesy? No. No? You're not looking after the people? I don't know. I can't confirm. Because his alleged apartment block is kept hidden. Nobody really knows where it is, so we can't check the prices. No. We must only have people like Hughesy, who not only have not changed for the last 30 years, they have actively fought against change. Hughesy's biggest cultural contributions to date are the above-mentioned whinging that a bag of snakes alive didn't have any alive snakes in it. Wow. The Hughesy voice, you know, Hughesy. And that one ad from when he was on the radio, you might not have got this interstate, but we got it here. He was in a bin, screaming, "Go round!" at a tram. Go round!
Go round! Go round!
Sitting in a bin, which at this point seems like an apt metaphor for his career. Seems Hughesy's biggest gripe with Albo is that back in 2021, Albo didn't tell the people of Australia that he was planning on changing the capital gains tax. And that might be because back in 2021, he wasn't. That wasn't on the cards. That's definitely not what's going on here. It's definitely that Albo has deceived us all, and he was sneakily trying to bring in a capital gains tax change. Couldn't be that he was meeting the moment and adjusting to the needs of the country right now like a good politician should. How dare the Labour Party meet the economic and political moment of a changing economy and try to help the people of Australia? No, that's not what we want to do. I mean, the ones who can't afford $5 million in property, of course. I mean, obviously, changing this isn't, at least in your opinion, very helpful for you. So, what else have you got to complain about, Hughesy? What have you got for me?
And this affects every working Australian, everyone who actually pays tax, because we all have to have super, which is investments, and you've just doubled the fucking take on it.
Oh no! Hughesy is angry!
What's going on? Why do I have to get so angry?
Why do you get so angry, Hughesy? Why do you get so angry? We've been wondering the same thing for about 30 years now, Hughesy, because that's been your shtick for about 30 years, because you refuse to change. I mean, at this point, he's just hulking out, isn't he? He's like the Incredible Hulk, but like instead of strength, he just gets more and more conspiracy theories. The Incredulous Hulk! The Incredulous Hughesy! Ooh. That's the name of his next tour, I guarantee it. I mean, at the moment, it's called Cooked, which he couldn't have timed better, but heck, that's a choice that he made. But it seems like the Snakes Alive bag, you are way off the mark, Hughesy. The snakes were never meant to be alive, Hughesy. And the capital gains tax is not what Hughesy claims it is. So I'm going to put some of my old skills to use here. See, I used to work as a fact checker. And it is time to dust off some of those old skills and do some research. It's time for the fact check. So, Hughesy. Hughesy's mad. Hughesy's mad because he claims that everyone's super will be impacted by changes to the capital gains tax. Okay. Super funds definitely invest in property. That's unquestionable. Anyone who thinks that there is an investment firm in this country that isn't investing in property is more delusional than Hughesy when he gets angry. So let's take a look, shall we? Australian Super is the largest superannuation fund in Australia, and it has $410 billion in investments. Very impressive. Of that, 3% is in property, which granted, on $410 billion, 3% is still $12.3 billion. Or, to put it in terms, in units of measurements that Hughesy might understand, $12.3 billion, that is 4,100 houses. Okay? You got that, Hughesy? 4,100 houses. Does that work for you, Hughesy, if we talk like that? Okay, thank you. And head of property at Aware Super, Alec Misev, expects to have half or more of its real estate portfolio invested overseas within 5 years, and said that while the Australian market would remain important, it is simply becoming too small to accommodate the $200 billion super fund's growth and the need to spread risk. As part of the plan to go, quote, truly global, end quote. Truly global in this case is a term that means taking advantage of as many poor people as possible around the world. Look, Hughesy, as of 2024, the superannuation industry is worth about $3.9 trillion, which is about 1,300,000 $3 million houses. Okay, gotcha? We still got your attention, Hughesy? Come on, pay attention now. But only about 6.7% of that goes into the property market. And that, my friend, is a 10-year low. They're actually actively moving away from investing in houses because major super funds prefer to invest in larger scale, industrial grade assets like build to rent developments, office buildings, or industrial parks rather than scattered residential houses. They need to make money long term, not scam a bunch of people and make off with their money like they're snake oil salesmen in the 1900s or banks before 2008. You know, you get it? Houses do not provide the necessary scale to efficiently manage vast pools of capital, making them a poor fit for institutional portfolios. Commercial properties may prove an attractive alternative for property investors as it appears to remain unaffected by the negative gearing tax reforms. Are you hearing what I'm saying, Hughesy? So stop buying houses and go buy a shop or a parking lot. You can still screw people unnecessarily if you buy a parking lot. You'll get all of the workers' money at that point. And look, buddy, properties that were currently held as of 7:30 p.m. on the 12th of May 2026, including those under contract awaiting settlement, can continue to be negatively geared until they are sold. This provides protection for investors who have made decisions based on current legislation. Like you, Hughesy. That's you. Look, I know that you claim that you didn't do it for that reason. I understand that. But an everyman comedian like yourself, you would say that so that you could be relatable to the everyman. Eligible new build residential properties would remain exempt from these changes. For these, both negative gearing and the existing capital gains tax of 50% will still be available. So what are you complaining about here? Furthermore, properties in widely held trusts and superannuation funds will be exempt from changes, in addition to targeted exemptions for build-to-rent developments and private investors supporting government housing programs. So they can be incentivized to build more places for people to live, the very thing that we need. I know you like people having places to live, Hughesy. After all, you own a shitload of them already. Not to mention, the federal budget reforms formally exempt retirement superannuation funds, meaning ordinary working Australians' super balances are not directly subject to the new capital gains tax increases and will continue to receive a 1/3 discount on capital gains, paying a maximum CGT rate of just 10%. Do you hear that? Why are you so mad? Did you even bother to read any of this shit? You didn't, did you? No. You heard there was a thing that was going to affect property, and you got mad, didn't you, Hughesy? You got so mad. Oh, I'm Hughesy and I'm angry. Where did you get your information from, Hughesy? Where did you get it from?
Fed information from someone in the government, because you're not that smart. Or are you?
I have ideas, and you know what I do? I go on AI,
Yeah.
and I work out whether my ideas are right or not, because I know if I get it wrong, they're going to come at me big time.
Why are you going to AI for this bullshit? No wonder you're so mad. You've been brain-rotted by AI. Maybe, look, Hughesy, maybe you should have stopped, had a nap or something before jumping to go online and then promising to go on white supremacist supporter Carl Stefanovic's fucking podcast. Hughesy, take a snoozy before you losey your temper, and then you choosy to get schmoozy on a podcast with a former newsie who lost his job for supporting white supremacists. Supremacists. I was so close. I was so close to having something good there. Hughesy, you don't need to worry about the future of super. We got it covered. Seems the superannuations have been acting unreliable and untrustworthy and have gone ahead and done a thing. Yeah, that's right. They've put coal back into super, which... What? Super. What are you doing? What are you doing? A mere 6 years ago, the country's biggest super fund announced that they'd be subject to a net zero carbon emissions target in line with the Paris Agreement. And that's a good thing. That is great. They then proceeded to dump its holdings in large thermal and metallurgical coal miner Whitehaven Coal. But now, they're the single biggest investor in Whitehaven, which operates 6 coal mines in New South Wales and Queensland and is developing more. A quick heads up. Most super providers actually invest in fossil fuels, okay? Just sorry about that. Housing and fossil fuels will, to some degree, fuel your future. And when future generations complain to us, we will have to bear the brunt of that. But many heavily restrict their exposure to thermal coal, given it is such an environmentally damaging source of energy. But you need to invest in things that are popular, right? That's what you got to do if you want to make money in this industry. Things that will make money. And in Australia, look, there aren't that many of those things. We sell off a lot of industries and we refuse to invest in others. We suffer from cultural cringe, so we don't want to invest locally. But I guess the way to look at it is that Mad Max is the most popular thing to come out of Australia. So they want to invest in that image of Australia. Plus, yeah, if you think about it, if they keep investing in not only coal, but in like the worst kind of coal, then we get to speed run turning the country into Mad Max world, and then they will actually never have to pay out the retirement funds. See? Do you see the end game? There is no need for money when you're a war boy or a blood bag strapped to an engine of a car. Got it. Nailed it. This is a future-proof plan. War boys don't get super. They get the glory of dying historic on the Fury Road. Valhalla awaits. You need super in Valhalla. Hughesy, mate, buddy, champ. If you want an investment that the government will never, ever touch, will never reduce their investment in, will never go back on their promise to put more and more money into, it's very simple. You need to invest in weapons. This way, you can still make the lives of young people worse, but you are guaranteed that the government will never fuck with your precious investments.